Have you ever just stared at a blank page? You know you have a speech to write, but you have absolutely no idea where to even start. Well, in this explainer, we're going to fix that. We're going to turn that intimidating blank page into a powerful speech, and we'll do it by breaking down the essential steps from chapters 9 through 13 of Stand Up, Speak Out.
So let's say you've picked your topic. You've even done the research. You've got all this great information sitting right in front of you. But now what? I mean, how do you actually shape all that stuff into a speech that really connects with people? That's the big question. And that's exactly what we're about to dive into.
Okay, here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this in 5 key stages. First, crafting that all-important introduction. Then, building the body of the speech. Next, concluding with real power. After that, we'll look at the speech blueprint. And finally, we'll polish it all off by choosing the perfect words. All right, first up, let's jump into Chapter 9, all about crafting your introduction. You know, they say you only get one chance to make a first impression, and when it comes to a speech, this is it. This is your moment. Your intro really has 2 critical jobs to do. Job number 1, it has to grab the audience and make them want to listen. And job number 2, it needs to give them a clear roadmap of where you're about to take them. It really does set the stage for everything that comes after. And you know what? There's a pretty foolproof formula for a great intro. It has 5 parts. First, you get their attention. Then, you link that attention getter to your topic. Third, you establish your credibility. Why should they listen to you? Fourth, state your thesis, your main argument. And finally, preview the main points you're going to make. And that first step, it's maybe the most important of all. The attention getter is your hook. It could be a surprising fact, a short story, maybe a question that makes people think. Really, it's anything that makes the audience lean in and go, okay, you've got my attention. I want to hear this. All right, so once you've hooked them with a killer intro, it is time to deliver the goods. And that brings us right to Chapter 10, Building the Body. This is the heart of your speech, the real core of your message. This is where you make good on the promises you made in your introduction. The body is where you lay out your main arguments, you present your evidence, and you really flesh out the ideas that you want your audience to remember long after you're done speaking. But how do you guide your audience through all that information without them getting lost? Well, the key is using signposts. Seriously, think of them like signs on a road. Words like first, or my next point is, or finally. They let your audience know exactly where they are in the journey of your speech. And signposts are just one tool you have. You've also got transitions to smoothly bridge your ideas, internal previews that give a little hint of what's coming next, and internal summaries to quickly recap what you've just covered. You put them all together and you get this beautiful, seamless flow. Okay, we've built the body. Now, how do we end this thing on a high note? That's Chapter 11, Concluding with Power. This is your chance to leave a lasting impression, to make sure your message really, truly sticks with them. You know, this is all because of something called the serial position effect. It just means our brains are wired to remember the very first thing we hear and the very last thing we hear way better than all the stuff in the middle. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. Your conclusion is every bit as critical as your introduction. Don't just let it fizzle out. And just like the intro, there's a simple, super effective formula for this. First, restate your thesis, but say it in a fresh way. Second, quickly run through your main points one last time to lock them in. And finally, give them a concluding device, a memorable final thought, a call to action, something that leaves the audience thinking. So now that we have the main pieces, the intro, the body, the conclusion, how do we put them all together in a way that makes sense? Well, that's where Chapter 12, the speech blueprint, comes in. You really should think of your outline as the architectural plan for your entire speech. Now, here's a key idea. You're actually going to create 2 different kinds of outlines. Your working outline is for you during preparation. It's detailed, it's got full sentences, all the parts. But your speaking outline, that's what you use when you're actually delivering the speech. It's just brief keywords or phrases, just enough to jog your memory. So you see, the outline isn't just some boring list of things to do. It's the roadmap. It's what ensures every single piece of your speech connects logically. It provides that essential structure and guarantees a smooth flow from your very first word to your very last. All right, we've come to the final step from Chapter 13, Choosing Your Words. The structure is built, the flow is there. Now it's time for the final polish. This is the language that's going to make your speech sing. A really crucial part of speaking today is using inclusive language. And all this means is choosing your words so you don't accidentally leave anyone out or make them feel stereotyped. You know, saying firefighter instead of fireman or hey everyone instead of hey you guys. It's a small change that makes a huge difference in connecting with your entire audience.
Your word choice has a direct impact on your credibility. You've got to avoid powerless language. Hedges like, I sort of think, or tag questions like, isn't it? They actually weaken your authority. Instead, use powerful, direct language. Be confident. And please, never start a sentence with, I'm not an expert, but. You did the research. You are the expert in that moment. Own it. So let's bring it all together. Here's your final checklist for building a great speech. Nail those 5 parts of the intro to hook your audience. Guide them through the body with clear signposts. End strong with a 3-step conclusion. Use those 2 different outlines for prep and for delivery. And finally, choose words that are powerful, clear, and inclusive.
Look, this framework gives you everything you need to succeed. You have the complete blueprint, from the first word to the very last. So, the only question left is, what amazing message are you going to build with it?